Hello, and this is the Midday Brief. In our headlines, University of Cape Coast successfully graduates first batch of 42 medical doctors. The implication of medical profession in Ghana will find out shortly. Also to come, police nabs 4 bank robbers in the eastern region. In this bulletin, the Ghana Journalists Association bears teeth at fake journalists, tarnishing the image of the profession. What can be done beyond the warnings? For the answers, stay with me. I'll bring them shortly. Also, the Ministry of Education says senior high schools in the northern region will receive their feeding grants by Friday, following warnings that the schools may close down due to non-availability of money to feed. And I am Kemini Nyamani Amano. Stay with me. I'll bring you details of these stories and plenty more in a bit. In our first story, President John Mahama last night left the country to attend a meeting of heads of state of countries along the Gulf of Guinea in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea. The meeting, convened by President Theodora Obiang Nguema Masogo, will focus on maritime security along the Gulf of Guinea. President Mahama, who has been discussing the strengthening of the maritime borders with his colleagues in Ivory Coast, Togo and Benin, as well as Nigeria, is expected to make some strong interventions at the summit. Ghana has over the last 3 years upgraded the equipment stock of the Ghana Navy and recently established a police marine unit with a view to check piracy and also protect the country's oil installations and maritime boundaries. President Mahama will return home on Saturday, August 10. In his absence, Vice President Kwesi Emisa Arthur will act in his stead. And so the first batch of 42 medical students from the University of Cape Coast School of Medical Sciences will pass out at the end of this month. Now, the Dean of School, Professor Harold Amunu Kofi, who announced this, said the school was committed to producing doctors whose contribution to healthcare would transform the health status of Ghanaians. Speaking at the 4th White Coat ceremony at the school last Wednesday, he indicated that doctors would raise the standard of medical practice in the communities and consequently better the well-being of the people. The ceremony ushers medical students into a phase of their training where they become members of the healthcare team looking after patients in hospitals after 3 years of academic work. Professor Amunu Kofi noted that the curriculum of the University of Cape Coast School of Medical Sciences was designed to meet the needs of doctors of the 21st century. Well, we are trying to raise the university on the telephone to tell us how this can impact healthcare as they attend announced their first batch of doctors. But while we put in efforts to do so, let's go to Ho, where the registrar of the Ho Polytechnic, David Kwame Jonto, has expressed grief about infrastructural development at the institution. Some ongoing GET or GET Fund projects have been halted, and only 15% of the students' population can be housed in the 2 existing halls of residence. Teaching and non-teaching staff alike are said to be faced with the acute accommodation problem, which is facing students as well.
According to Kwame Jonto, there are less than 30 bungalows for the over 400 staff to share, though he added that with the aid of GET Fund, the school is constructing a 5-story, 20-unit residential block. The structure is only 55% complete and would partially solve the problem. He also disclosed that the Ho Polytechnic has introduced 3 new programs starting next academic year. They are HND Purchasing and Supply, HND Banking and Finance, and HND Industrial Art. The programs are intended to equip students with in-depth knowledge and adequately prepare them for those industries.
We have also introduced the HND Industrial Art program, and that is to cater for those who read visual arts. And we hope they will all be in school.
The Polytechnic has also been chosen among 16 in the country to participate in the Ghana Skills Development Initiative pilot project. It will also help augment the quality of apprenticeship training and other programs in the informal sector of the Volta region to enhance the livelihood of participants. The registrar, however, commended government on the delivery of a large consignment of equipment and machinery for the Mechanical Engineering Department, whose Polytechnic was established in 1968 in the Volta regional capital, aimed at delivering higher academic training in the technical discipline. The 2013-2014 academic year starts in early October. Komla Ado filed this report for Joy News.
The leadership of the Ghana Journalists Association has warned those who pose as journalists to desist from their activities, as anyone caught in any such act will be prosecuted. A statement issued to this effect and signed by the administrative officer of the GJA, Fifi Nete, said the activities of these fake journalists did not only tarnish the image of the country's professionals, but were also against the ethics of the GJA. According to the statement, the association continues to receive reports of some fake journalists stealing electronic gadgets and other items at some public events. The statement stressed that the GJA would not allow such unscrupulous individuals to destroy the hard-earned reputation of genuine journalists. And so let's get onto the phone line and talk to the president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Afil Morning. Good afternoon, Afil. How are you doing?
By His grace, by His grace.
Right, and so this call has come after you've received a lot of complaints. But how easy for it for anyone to just pretend to be a journalist?
In the first place, we do acknowledge that unlike other professions like law and medicine, the practice that defines journalism, that is engaging in an expressive activity, is protected as a fundamental human right. This simply means that everybody has a fundamental human right to express themselves through the media and other forms of communication.
Right.
And so everybody can practice as a journalist. But at the same time, we believe that we need to do something radical to sanitize the media front, because it's so polluted by people who masquerade as journalists, but whose conduct or misconduct portrays them as
right.
people who are not journalists. By their fruit, as the Bible says, we shall know them. And the fruit of unethical practices, the fruit of professional practices, and all that. These are something we need to confront with urgent promptitude and with all seriousness. I remember some few years back, we collaborated with the police to swoop on journalists or so-called journalists who are obviously people with questionable characters or elements of ignoble proportions who invade places of events, and then they will demand, and they put up all kinds of discreditable behaviors just to survive so we think something needs to be done. The system is so rotten, and the rot must end somewhere. So once we're revising the possibility of collaborating with the police, and then so that we once in a while will go to events. Place of media events, and then and try to separate the sheep from the goat.
How do you intend to do that? Separating the sheep from the goat. How do you intend to do that? Because I foresee a lot of difficulty, considering from your own submission that anybody at all could use the media as a form of expression, and the fact that not every broadcaster or every journalist has gone through journalism training. How do you intend to do that? You might just capture the wrong person.
No, by our constitution stipulates that a journalist is someone who has been trained, and the training is in two main forms.
Right.
Training in a structured environment, or training in a recognized institution and then training on the job. But we have a class of notorious people who are neither trained in a recognized institution or trained on the job, but who, because of the glamour and other motives, will go to events, pretend, masquerade as journalists, sometimes, harass event organizers, and some even are in the habit of stealing. We have so many cases where people have been caught stealing valuable items, all in the name of journalists. So we should not allow this small group of people to spoil our name. So it's better to deal with them before they envelop all of us in a dark name. Right. So we realize that it's a tall mountain to climb, but we need to start from somewhere. So we think of collaborating with the police so that a task force or something will go to places where media events are organized, and then we ask the organizer whether they did actually invite certain people to their functions. And we also seize the opportunity to ask all event organizers, please do not entertain people who have not invited to your functions. Some will come and then they'll end up either swindling or duping you. So stay clear of these people. We have a fair idea of people who have constituted themselves into such paparazzis,
right,
and who are polluting our name, but
right.
These are not met.
I feel you admitted that you have some people that you have arrested, but we haven't heard anything. So beyond issuing these warnings, what can the GJA do to deter these unscrupulous persons from fronting as journalists?
I did not say we have arrested. I said we have a fair idea of people who will masquerade as such and go to certain places. Sometimes they will even write their names as can become from
right.
FM or graphic, because they will look at, they will survey the environment and see.
Right, and so what is the GJ doing besides, given this warning? What is the GJ doing?
We intend revisiting our collaboration with the police. And as I said, when it got worse, we formed a task force. So we'll look at the possibility of forming a task force which will swoop on such locations, on certain locations, and then we will see whether people who are there, who they need to convince us whether they represent any media house. And we also ask event organizers, please deal with recognized journalists.
Thank you very much, Afil Moni is president of the Ghana Journalists Association. But let's go back to our earlier story. I told you about the facts that the University of Cape Coast has turned out its first batch of medical students who would graduate into doctors. In fact, they are passing out at the end of this month. And so let's go over to the telephone and talk to Professor Amunu Kofi, who is he is with the University of Cape Coast School of Medical Sciences. He is the Dean of Studies at that school. Hello, Prof.
Oh, hello.
Right, good morning to you. Or good afternoon, rather.
Well, whatever.
Right. And so, Prof, you're turning out your first batch of 42 medical students. What does this mean for the profession?
Well, it means a lot. We are turning out the first graduates from the School of Medical Sciences, University of Cape Coast. This means quite a lot. Even though the number sounds too small, 42. In terms of the total population of doctors, this is quite significant because Ghana has just a little over 3,000 doctors, caring for a population of well over 23 million. So Cape Coast University is making a significant contribution to the population of doctors in the country.
Right. How about the competencies of these students you're churning out? What would you tell us about that?
Okay. These students have been trained here in Cape Coast using a very rigorous program, academic curriculum,
right,
which is monitored by both the National Accreditation Board and the Medical and Dental Council. The students have been taught by both international faculty as well as local medical faculty, the same people who teach medical students in the other medical schools.
right.
Now, in the examinations, the exams are moderated by our external examiners, all of whom come from either the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology School of Medical Sciences or from the University of Ghana Medical School. So these exams are externally moderated, and we ensure that high standards are maintained in the exams that we conduct here. So we can attest to the fact that these students have met the minimum conditions for being designated as students who have passed the exams.
Right, so what peculiar challenges did you encounter in the training of these medical students?
Come again?
What could have been the challenges that you encountered in training these students?
Oh, well, we initially, I mean, this is, as you said, this is the first batch.
Right.
And, when we started, there were quite a lot of difficulties and challenges. There were skeptics who said it was not, we weren't going to be able to pull it off, and so on and so forth. But the main challenges are really the same or even worse challenges that face other schools in terms of funding. Funding has been very difficult, and the University of Cape Coast has had to commit a lot of resources to build up this medical school to the standard where we are now. And I can say now that the school has sort of established the basic infrastructure and learning resources that are needed to train quality medical doctors. And we are very proud of what we have here. And I think, if you were to compare us to other medical schools, you probably find that we rank very high in terms of learning resources and infrastructure.
So right.
Yes, go ahead, I'm listening.
Going forward in admitting fresh students, how have you been able to deal with some of these challenges you faced earlier?
Going forward,
yes,
yes, we still stick to our rigorous admission criteria. We have stuck to the numbers that the Medical and Dental Council has stipulated for us, because they require us to maintain a student-staff ratio that is approved by National Accreditation Board. So even though pressure is on us to admit more students, we have to relate this to the facilities on the ground. Now, the most important facilities that we need are clinical training sites, like hospital, a good teaching hospital, which at the moment we don't have. We use the regional hospital for teaching, and then other local health facilities. So we could do with a good teaching hospital that can accommodate a larger number of students. Then, we'll be able to turn out more. We have infrastructure for even 200 students who will come in the first year. But we cannot actually admit 200 until we have clinical facilities that can accommodate 200 students.
Right. Thank you very much, Professor Amunu Kofi is Dean of Studies at the University of Cape Coast Medical Sciences. Moving on, media practitioners have been charged to be at the forefront of the fight against child labor. This is especially because the lack of adequate information on child labor issues has made it relatively difficult to educate the general public.
The Programs Officer of the International Labour Organization in Ghana, Kwame Mensah, observed that some journalists are unaware of programs and interventions that exist to address the issue of child labor. As a result, the general public is not sensitized enough to adequately support the fight against child labor in Ghana.
Across the world, more than 200 million children are estimated to be in child labor. Many of them are in hazardous work. In Ghana and in Africa, there are many children who are involved in mining, fishing, commercial sexual exploitation, domestic work, and many other forms, including child labor in the informal sector. So the International Labour Organization has been working through its conventions and supporting countries to implement measures to deal with worst forms of child labor particularly. In Ghana, what is being done is that support is being provided for the implementation of a national plan of action. In 2010, the Cabinet of Ghana endorsed a national plan of action that sets out a comprehensive framework and an integrated fashion in which child labor will be dealt with.
He maintained dealing with child labor is a strategic approach to breaking the poverty cycle at all levels. He called on all stakeholders to be committed to eliminating child labor in the country.
Enforcement in this area must be done effectively. Working with the district assemblies in the central region is crucial to make sure that budgets are allocated for child labor interventions, and these budgets are assessed and used. The Department of Labor, the district offices of social welfare, Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice, all stakeholders and duty bearers should be involved.
The central region, for instance, has a number of children engaged in fishing activities and all kinds of work. Some children and parents in Kotokraba Market have been speaking to Joy News on the kind of work they do.
Literacy, a lot of literacy now among us also. On Midday or Bonababru. Onim Namamina no watching. Work of Ribinazi, tomatoes, onion or rotten. What's what I'm a pana? None of a bit change to make a crowd or button. The man and ask them that to its banamo. So what with Madame child labor, some that watch a baganan. The man order with you. I don't side with you people.
Now, 4 persons suspected to be the masterminds behind the robbery at the Fumisua branch of the Jaben Rural Bank have been arrested by the police in Kumasi. The suspects, who were arrested through a collaboration between the police in Kumasi and their counterparts in Accra, have since been brought to Accra for further investigations. They are Patricia Treneboa Mensa, 31, cashier at the bank, Akwesi Owusu, 43, and Ali Seidu, 30, both porters at the taxi station at Tech Junction in Kumasi, and Kwabenebo, 52. Now, briefing the media in Accra on Wednesday, the Director General of the Criminal Investigation Department, Commissioner of Police, Prosper Aglo, said Patricia, who was unhappy about her transfer to another branch of the bank at Kwaso, decided to teach her boss, Doris Boatima, a lesson. Now, to accomplish her plan, Aglo said Patricia hired the services of Seidu, who introduced her to Owusu, who in turn led her to Alaba in Kumasi, then introduced her to Ebo for assistance. Ebo then engaged some thugs for the assignment, with an assurance from Patricia that she would hand over the booty to them when they attacked, since she was the cashier. He said during banking hours on July 30, 2013, 3 men armed with pistols stormed the bank, attacked the workers, and took away an amount of 81,273.55 pesos. The robbers subjected the security man to severe beatings, which resulted in him sustaining head injuries. The Ministry of Education has given indication that senior high schools in the 3 northern regions would receive their feeding grants by Friday. The Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools had warned schools in the 3 northern regions would be closed down if government did not release their feeding grants by Friday. Deputy Minister of Education in charge of pre-tertiary education, Alex Treme, however, said there was no cause for alarm. He reiterated that the Ministry of Finance has given a warrant to the Controller and Accountant General's Department to pay up by close of working day Friday. In some other news, Acting Executive Director of the National Service Scheme, Alhaji Imuru Al-Hassan, has enjoined the youth to engender a sense of patriotism in all their dealings, urging that those engaged in politics also have a responsibility to promote peace and tranquility. Alhaji Imuru Al-Hassan was speaking at the commissioning of the refurbished Ashanti Regional Office of the National Service Secretariat. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin has the rest of the story.
The acting executive director said Ghana is at the crossroads as citizens wait for the Supreme Court's verdict on the 2012 presidential election petition. He said he is hopeful that the youth will choose the path of peace and tranquility.
A huge responsibility therefore rests on the youth of the country, who are usually engaged in such socio-political skirmishes. The time has come now, more than ever before, for us all to demonstrate our sense of patriotism to Mother Ghana.
He spelled out some of the major challenges facing the scheme and said relying heavily on the state for its operations comes with renewed challenges in the face of budgetary constraints.
As a public institution, the scheme has had to rely heavily on the state for most of its activities, with all the annual national budgetary constraints. But that notwithstanding, we have had to also mobilize resources internally and externally to carry out some of our activities that our mainstream budgets do not support.
He commended the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council for their harmonious working relationship with the regional scheme in the refurbishment of the new office. Ashanti Regional Director of the scheme, Kwesi Kwenu, entreated other public organizations to collaborate with the private sector to celebrate national development.
The past 5 years or so has witnessed a huge quantum jump in the numbers of national service persons deployed to serve in the region. This development has been occasioned by the general increase in the numbers of national service persons countrywide. Given our limited and congested space, which incidentally is the only one located outside the presence of the Regional Coordinating Council nationwide, we have had to grapple with working under very stressful, congested, and sometimes hazardous conditions.
Deputy Ashanti Regional Minister Samuel Yaweduse acknowledged the significant role played by service personnel in their challenging environment and commended their efforts towards the region's development.
Keep the Peace, a multimedia group and Star Ghana initiative.
I stand for peace. I'm Bishop Titus, our Triprat of the Methodist Church Ghana, Accra Diocese.
Well, my name is Father Bonaventure Kwedu, and I'm a Catholic priest. And I think it behoves on all of us as Ghanaians to encourage ourselves to pledge to be law-abiding and to be peaceful, especially after the verdict. And I think this is possible if each and everyone will communicate that peace. Thank you very much.
My pledge is to facilitate peace in our country. And I promise on my honor to be committed to one Ghana and to ensure that Ghana lives in peace and moves in peace.
My name is Reverend Dr. Adam Tete, moderator of the Global Evangelical Church. I stand for peace.
I'm Reverend Felix Mensah Agbo, Global Evangelical Church, Accra Presbyterian Chairman. I stand for peace, and Accra Global Evangelical Church will stand for peace.
My name is Reverend Dr. Rich Dowusu. I'm coming all the way from Sunyane, representing the National Association of Charismatic and Christian Churches. Like we used to say, we have no other place to go. This is our land, this is our homeland, Ghana. And therefore, critically, we have no other option but to pledge peace and to ensure peace and to preach peace. We are trusting God before, during, and after the declaration of the Supreme Court verdict. We are hoping that we are calling upon all Ghanaians, both great and small, political leaders, religious leaders, traditional leaders, whoever we are, let's promote and ensure that peace prevails in this land. And that is the only thing that we can do. That's the legacy we can leave for our children's children and generations unborn.
Keep the Peace, a multimedia group and Star Ghana initiative.
I'll take care of you.
All it takes is letting go.
I'll always be by your side.
It's only when you do that you truly win.
Wipe away your tears. I'll be your best friend.
That's when you experience the magic of each moment. Like it's the first time. All it takes is letting go. A great man once said, "The world is won by those who let go." At Star Assurance, we take care of the things you care about, so you are free to be all you can be. Let go and let Star. Talk to us today. Star Assurance, your solid partner.
You're welcome back. And the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference has called for the individual and collective responsibility of all Ghanaians to ensure peace and stability before and after the delivery of the verdict in the election petition. They have, however, appealed to citizens to think of the country first in all that they do. They made the appeal to a news conference in Accra.
The appeal by the Catholic bishops was translated into all the languages across the length and breadth of the country. They urged Ghanaians to maintain the peace in the country by accepting the final verdict by the Supreme Court.
We believe that each one of us can and must contribute to greater justice and peace by reflecting seriously on our personal and collective responsibility in the current state of uneasy calm in our country. We appeal to all Ghanaians to be calm before and after the verdict and refrain from provocative actions and utterances that can lead to violence and conflicts. In this way, we will succeed in sending out a clear message to the world that our nation is at peace with itself and that it is a nation whose citizens live together and work together in peace in spite of our differences. A humble and passionate appeal to all Ghanaians that in whatever we do, we must always think Ghana first.
Archbishop Palmer Bako was of the opinion peace will prevail irrespective of who is declared a winner.
Listen to all the institutions, the Christian Council, the Muslim Council, the Catholic Bishops' Conference. Listen to the traditional leaders. Listen to, just go back into the newspapers and you realize that those who know the importance of the institution, judiciary, and respect the judges because they are our own people whom we've put there, whom we know very well. We are not calling, we are not talking more about justice. We are talking more about individual commitment to peace. That is what is important because you see, the word justice in this particular context is the verdict they are asking for. The verdict will either go left or go right. If it goes left, those on the right, what do they want to say? That it was not justice. If it goes right, what will those on the left want to say? That it was not justice. Then they don't understand what justice is. Justice is that a verdict will be given based on the wisdom, the Constitution, and how everything else, and will be given, but it is up to you and me to implement that verdict in order to bring about peace, love, and development. So I would like to say that we have full and total confidence in the judiciary.
Ghanaians were urged to pray for God's favor as Judgment Day draws nigh.
In other news, the Minister for Chieftaincy, Dr. Henry Seydou Dana, has challenged chiefs to help restore the dignity of the chieftaincy institution through positive contributions. He made the call in a speech at the 25th anniversary of the installment of Awulai Ati Brukusu III as paramount chief of the Lower Axim traditional area.
Awulai Ati Brukusu III, known in private life as Eddie Kofi Atiaba, born on 8th September 1961, was installed as paramount chief of Lower Axim traditional area in 1988. He was admitted to the Western Regional House of Chiefs in 1988 as a member of the House. In 1992, he was elected by his colleagues at the Western Regional House of Chiefs to represent them at the National House of Chiefs. He became vice president of the Western Regional House of Chiefs on 2 occasions, in 1996 and 2000. He was president of the Western Regional House of Chiefs in 2004 and 2008. Currently, he is the president of the Western Regional House of Chiefs and vice president of the National House of Chiefs, making him the only chief in Ghana to hold 2 such positions concurrently. Awulai Ati Brukusu III, in his welcome address, spelled out some of his achievements and challenges since his installment.
Being our margin of our upper disco, whom people think, and I've been saying, we are brothers. We have gone a long way, and I hope and I think none of them will also have one person in common. Where if somebody should say Kwesi, then I will know exactly who that person is. Thank you, Kwesi, for being my supporter and for being with me all the time when the need was arrived. Thank you all for hearing me. Thank you so much.
The second lady, Matilda Emisa Arthur, commended Awulai for his vision and achievement, which she called on others to emulate.
Good wishes to Awulai. Tell Awulai that the same Lord who has been with him since he was installed will continue to be with him.
The Minister for Chieftaincy and Traditional Affairs, Dr. Henry Seydou Dana, in his remarks said Awulai's record within the short period of his reign clearly shows that age is not a barrier to chieftaincy. He challenged other chiefs to emulate Awulai's achievement while calling for the restoration of dignity to the chieftaincy institution.
His record shows that age is not a barrier to chieftaincy. Indeed, record says that he was the youngest paramount chief, and I wish that this is a good example for other royals to emulate.
An appeal for funds was launched towards the construction of an ultra-modern palace.
The Ghana Red Cross Society has held the 2013 edition of its General Assembly in compliance with its statutory requirements. The meeting is held every 2 years to review the performance of the society.
The General Assembly also determines the general policy of the organization and elects the president and other members of the governing board. The Red Cross, which has supported government in the provision of humanitarian and relief services, has just about always been among the first to respond to the emergency cases. The society is currently present in over 120 districts across the country, with at least 60,000 volunteers nationwide. Addressing the assembly, outgoing president Professor Mante Kwabena Bosompim, even though appreciated members, urged them to do more in their bid to meet their target.
Volunteer recruitment. Already we've done a lot of progress with this. We have a clear-cut strategy, an innovative membership drive, for which we have a complete document on, that this must be focused on and work actively to enhance, and that it is expected that the regions will engage proactively to recruit and to retain.
The association also rewarded past presidents and regional executives who have contributed to the development of the society. Former governor of the Bank of Ghana, John Saka Addo, who headed the society from 1984 to 1985, was given a special recognition for his role in the achievements struck by the society.
Now let's talk about the somewhat dwindling use of the service of traditional birth attendants. And now we understand that in the Western region, they are started to be losing business as more expectant mothers opt for midwives. Now, these traditional birth attendants explain the midwives adopt a more modern approach in the execution of their duties. The traditional birth attendants As a result, have asked for support and training to keep them in business. Our Western Regional correspondent William Benjamin Peters has come through with this report.
History. Traditional birth attendants have been the main healthcare providers for women during childbirth, especially in rural areas. Until recently, traditional birth attendants were held in high esteem and their services highly patronized. But this trend is gradually dwindling due to modern trends in maternal healthcare delivery. Most expectant mothers now prefer to access the services of midwives from the various health centers to that of traditional birth attendants or TBAs. The services of some TBAs who are untrained are unable to recognize and respond appropriately to complications of pregnancy, which poses a lot of risk to women and their babies, leading to poor health outcomes and even death. Joy News paid a visit to some rural communities in the Western region to assess the patronage of the services of TBAs. We came up close with Grace Fosu, an experienced traditional birth attendant who plies the services at Ampain community in the Lembele district of the Western region.
Hospital into a day, what title here, no Buddha would do. So I bend them out. Oh, yeah, when she be the Maya won't quan, I want for the mouse may see or buy a home more womb. Until you be now, all day experience. Nimpano saw a trinon bear, on your day force on there on tree. I want to know Baba. Nadia, I want to sue and swan. O wechirade ahoma ketekete bi sankasanado into adamani nyanya botamani hinaloba anya ndamna satwa otummanyi panu.
She believes constant training to upgrade their skills will go a long way to revive their activities, since they still play a major role in maternal healthcare delivery, especially in rural communities.
Keep the Peace, a multimedia group and Star Ghana initiative.
My name is Florence Dennis. I'm the Executive Director of Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition. I stand for peace.
My name is Emmanuel Bombande. I am the Executive Director of the West African Network for Peace Building, and I pledge to continue to work and support the peace of Ghana.
My name is Dr. Afemoni, President of the Ghana Journalists Association. And though this country has come a long way, and now we are on the brink of the river, and we have a mountain to climb apart from the river to cross. So we media practitioners have a special responsibility to ensure that we cross this river safely, so that Ghana will continue to be at peace with itself and peace with the rest of the world.
My name is Madame Messi Nafloa Nijan, President of the Greater Accra Markets Association. I'm here on behalf of my association, and we, the Greater Accra Market Association, mostly women, have pledged to make sure peace is maintained after the declaration of the resource. We have pledged to educate other members to let peace prevail.
Let's keep the peace, a multimedia group and Star Ghana initiative.
Ethiopian military cargo plane has crashed and caught fire and landed at Mogadishu airport in Somalia. According to sources, 4 of the 6 crew members on board the aircraft carrying equipment for international forces fighting Islamist militants were killed. Cargo items could be heard exploding inside the plane as the fire spread, closing the airport. The blaze was put out after about 2 hours. Ethiopian troops entered Somalia in 2011 to assist African Union forces. It is not known yet when the plane got into difficulties and whether it overshot the runway or fell short of it. That's in international news.
Ethiopian troops entered Somalia in 2011 to assist African Union forces. The aircraft belonged to Ethiopia, but it was not immediately clear where it flew from. Ethiopian troops are not part of the African Union peacekeeping force supporting the Somali government forces in their fight against the Islamist militia Al-Shabaab, which is linked to Al-Qaeda. The Associated Press news agency reports that Al-Shabaab militants have shot at planes in the past, but not in recent years. The 2 crew members injured in the crash are receiving medical attention at the African Union Hospital in Mogadishu, its mission in Somalia. The crash occurred shortly before 8 a.m. local time, and according to AMISOM, there was no damage on the runway. According to the AU mission, the cause of the incident is yet to be established, but investigations are currently underway. Reuters news agency reports that the aircraft was a Soviet-made Antonov 24. It was unclear what ammunition the plane was carrying. Reuters adds that a convoy of empty Somali military trucks had been seen earlier at the airport. On its Twitter feed, Al-Shabaab said the plane crash had thwarted the plot of the enemy invaders.
And at least 9 people were killed when gunmen opened fire outside a mosque in second attack in southwest Pakistan. About 20 others were wounded in the attack, which came as worshippers left the Sunni Muslim mosque after sunrise prayers for the Eid al-Fitr festival. Bullets hit the car of the Ali Mudat Jataki, former Pakistan People's Party provincial minister, but he wasn't hurt. On Thursday, dozens of people died in a suicide bomb blast in the same area. In the latest attack, 4 unidentified men opened fire on the former minister as prayers came to a close.
The funeral was for a policeman who was shot and killed as he traveled through Keita earlier on Thursday with his children, who were both injured. Witnesses said in the immediate aftermath of the attack, weeping policemen wandered through the blood and body parts looking for colleagues or sat shocked and in silence amid abandoned shoes and other belongings. The province is plagued not just by the Taliban's insurgency, but also by sectarian infighting between Sunnis and Shias and a rebellion by Baloch separatists on Tuesday.
Let's do some sports now, brought to you by Tigo.
It doesn't take much to make something big happen with Tigo's free Bonto. You can text, browse, make IDD calls, and even better, call all networks with your bonus credit.
Guys, I need your help.
Dial *555*1# to activate Tigo's free Bonto. With Tigo's free Bonto, you get a double bonus on every 1 Ghana Cedi or 2 Ghana Cedi top-up, and a triple bonus on every 5 Ghana Cedi top-up or more. Use your credits how you want, when you want. No restrictions. With your free Bonto.
Smile. You've got
So preparations are far advanced for the second leg of the Kotoko Hearts Oldies at the Accra Sports Stadium. Team Kotoko won the first leg by 3-1 and would look to consolidate that scoreline to win the trophy at stake. Kotoko legend Reverend Osei Kofi has been speaking to Joy Sports ahead of the Titanic encounter.
I was surprised when I heard the makers announcing that this thing is going to happen, but I was wondering how. because the present league, people don't even patronize. How can an old man, whom even people didn't see? But it has been a success. When they went to Kumasi, what actually happened? We saw it on TV, the way people went. Nana was invited, but they just sent the linguist to go and represent Kotoko, which was a nice posture. One thing I was expecting has is, I have played Hearts before, and we always use Kumasi as our home grounds. So I was wondering why they sat them for Kotoko to beat them 3-1 over there. Now they are coming back to Accra, which is Kotoko's home. They were complaining that Nana sent somebody with a palanquin and whatnot. I'm not doubting about that. Now, Ni Aibonte also has been invited to support her. So we are going to see who is who on Sunday.
That is one unhappy has oldie. We'll turn to some other sports stories. The maiden National Junior Elite Athletic Program has commenced at the Elwak Sports Stadium with as many athletes competing in 18 different events. The program is designed to unearth the next generation of talents. Professor Francis Dodu is the chairman of the Ghana Athletics Authority, and he spoke to Joy Sports on what he made of the event.
Beautiful. The weather has started out really nicely and the sun has come up, and it's been a really wonderful day. Seeing so many children come from all over the country is also really wonderful for athletics. We thank Promasido, we thank Ghana Education Service. I mean, they've done what we couldn't do, and it's been a really wonderful day. I think the children are enjoying it, and they're running really, really well. I mean, the young girl who won the 100 meters, the time was incredible, 12:20 something from what I understand. I haven't seen the official results, but the people at the results table gave me that time, and if that time stands out to be correct, it's a really good time for under 15. So it's been a really good day all around. Yeah, when you watch these inter-school games, you recognize that we really have quite a lot of talent in this country. I mean, the time that I just gave, there was a girl from, I think she was from the northern region, who won the 1500. That was also a really brilliant time. And so we really do have the talent in here, and it bodes well for the future of Ghana. I think, like I always say, the kids are doing their part, they're coming out and they're running hard, and it's up to the rest of us who manage the sport to make sure that we sort of give them the support that they need, the funding, the infrastructure, and the coaching and all those kinds of things. And they're doing their part, and it's up to us to step up and do our part too. Yeah. The Promasido boss was talking to me today, and he himself basically expressed concern about the lack of people in the stands, and he talked about how next year they've got some plans to really bring out people. I'm hoping that people like you, the press, will come out tomorrow.
Ahead of the crucial World Cup qualifier against Ghana, the Chipolopolo of Zambia are built to take on Senegal as preparatory games, as the Black Stars also warm up against Turkey. Now, some of the biggest clubs in Europe are preparing for the new season with friendly games all over the globe. Real Madrid took on Chelsea in the Guinness Cup final in America, with Barcelona taking on Thai select side. Now, here are highlights of those games.
Ramos to Luka Modric. Here's Marcelo in a great position. Brilliant! Real Madrid take the lead, and it's Marcelo. Card. Oscar. Ivanovic. Ramirez on by Hazard. Ramirez through the middle. He could go all the way here. Oh, what a finish. Chelsea are instantly level.
That's it for sports.
It doesn't take much to make something big happen. With Tigo's free Bonto, you can text, browse, make IDD calls, and even better, call all networks with your bonus credit.
Guys, I need your help.
Dial *555*1# to activate Tigo's free Bonto. With Tigo's free Bonto, you get a double bonus on every 1 Ghana Cedi or 2 Ghana Cedi top-up, and a triple bonus on every 5 Ghana Cedi top-up or more. Use your credits how you want, when you want. No restrictions. Create a free Bonto.
Smile. You've got.
Well, let's do some showbiz news. And many Ghanaians, mostly Muslims, thronged the Nima High Street Thursday night to celebrate and have fun with fellow Muslim brothers and sisters as it's Ramadan. Organizers VIP concluded this is the largest crowd they have ever pulled since the commencement of the Salah Fest 3 years ago.
On Thursday night, Muslims and Christians all over Ghana took to the streets of Nima to join the VIP music trail in celebration of the annual festival, Sanla. Most of our celebrated musicians in Ghana graced the occasion in grand style. Amongst them was the award-winning gospel artist, Hetty Bongreat. Hetty Bongreat seized the opportunity to announce that her album will be out next month with a mega concert, so fans should watch the space.
My new single is out, titled Stronger. I also know that people, they wonder. It's out now, and I'm currently preparing for my album, my third album, which is titled Mystery. So I'm inviting all my fans, they should just watch out.
It was a fabulous night for the patrons who not even the delay of the show would deter them from having a blast of the night.
Everybody, come on! Now that's good, but here's what's better. It seems some love bug has bitten our entertainers in recent times after photos surfaced of their romantic trip to Paris and some other interesting places. Dr. Sid has finally popped the big question to his girlfriend following Peter of P Square's big step.
Not too long ago, when Captain Planet, born Jeff Sidney Dodge of the Hip Life Trio 4x4, popped the big question, will you marry me? With an expensive ring to his girlfriend Uche Ofodele of Vodafone Ghana. He has dated for 2 years. Captain Planet says the wedding is going to happen right here in Accra.
Yeah, you got me dancing a lingo, the way that you move in your window.
All right, now it was on the 6th of August when news also hit the media that Peter Okoye of the multiple award-winning group P Square has also decided to take his relationship to another level by proposing to the mother of his 2 beautiful kids, Lola Omutayo. But with Peter, the big question came with a Range Rover. And as if it has all been planned out. Guess who proposed to his girlfriend just yesterday? The dentist turned music star, Sydney Asiri, popularly known as Dr. Sid. The pop champagne hit singer, after 7 days romantic vacation to various European cities, presented the custom-made ring to his fashion consultant girlfriend, Simi Osomo.
All good for them, but unfortunately that's it for this hour. Before we work with recap of our headlines, University of Cape Coast successfully graduates first batch of 42 medical doctors. The implications on the medical profession, we were beautifully told. Police nab 4 bank robbery syndicates in the eastern region. The Ghana Journalists Association bears teeth at fake journalists tarnishing the image of the profession. Also, the Ministry of Education says senior high schools in the northern region will receive their feeding grants by Friday, close of day today. Thank you very much for your company. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. Interact with us on our social media pages on Facebook and on Twitter. I am Kimini Nyamani Amano. Have a lovely weekend.
gluten-free thinks it's racism. We're going to hear from the shopkeeper. For the second time in 2 days, militants have targeted the Pakistani city of Quetta. Today, after prayers to mark the beginning of Eid, gunmen opened fire outside a mosque, killing 9 people. On Thursday, you might remember, 30 people were killed attending a police funeral. And on top of the violence, now this news of a specific threat to the US consulate in Lahore, which has led to its evacuation. Many Pakistanis are now saying if they're not safe during Eid, when will they ever be? From Islamabad, Charles Haviland reports.
All but emergency staff in Lahore have now been evacuated from the US Consulate General because of